What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's Wolf Coffee Roasters channel and video. Today we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and we want to thank all of you at home who are subscribed to our channel for being on this journey with us. And we're this close to getting there, so for those of you who are not currently subscribed, we'd love for you to join us, because these next 3 videos we're putting together are a series on latte art, and what we're going to be talking about is hearts, tulips and rosettas, and kind of the tropes and pitfalls that people often run into when it comes to getting a perfect one done. We're going to give you some advice in terms of maybe what is and isn't working. Maybe you kind of always see the same thing happening every time you go to do one of these patterns, and hopefully with the advice we can give you today, it may fix it and you'll start getting the perfect heart, the perfect tulip and the perfect rosetta. So to start off with today, I'm going to be going with the heart, and we're going to show you how to do a perfect heart, or as perfect as I can make it. And then from there, kind of some of the things you'll often see 3 different times where it goes wrong. And maybe we can show you a way to fix that and get out of that situation. Then on the next video, we'll be going through the tulips, and finally on the last, we'll be going through rosettas. So hey, subscribe, like what you see, and together we'll get your latte art just right. So let's start on the heart, and today I'll show you how to do a perfect heart. So what I'm starting with is an excellent espresso in the cup to maintain contrast with the pattern I'm about to pour. As with all of our patterns, we mix in 3/4 of the way up through the cup. We drop smack bang into the center of the cup, slowly untilt the cup as it fills, and begin pulling through towards the end. And what we should end up with is a relatively sized, centralized heart in the cup. All right, common mistake number 1. Now, the most common mistake we see when it comes to producing a really nice centralized heart is what a lot of people do isn't necessarily produce a heart, but produce something that looks more like a ball that then has a small wick at the end. Almost something that's kind of I guess, an apple or an orange with a stem. And what you find with that is this top part of the heart doesn't necessarily get pulled through as much as it should. The reason for that being that the pull through on the jug to finish the cup can be such that if you raise the jug up before pulling through too soon or too high, which you may have learned when you're doing things like rosettas or tulips, is while that creates a really nice thin line to finish off a rosetta or finish off a tulip, you don't necessarily want that on a heart. With that, what's happening is you're pulling up too soon, too high, and what's not happening is it's not pulling that heart down into the cup, creating the arch at the top of the heart. What it's doing is leaving it kind of circled over, and you're still getting that little wick of tail at the end. The fix to that is keep the jug relatively low in the cup for a pull through, only on a heart, not on the other patterns. What that'll do is it'll pull the top in while creating the base as well and give you a heart shape. Common mistake number 2. Now, when it comes to pouring any pattern, coffee for me has always been fake it till you make it. You need to pour with confidence in order for latte art to happen. If you're too reserved and you find you're pouring the pattern and it's just not getting much bigger, and what you end up with is a really small heart inside the cup. What's really happening is you're kind of being a little bit too holding back in the way that you pour. You need to be pouring a little bit more confidently, tilting the jug that little bit more in order to really let the flow occur of that milk. Now, one good fix to this is instead of pouring a heart where you drop into the cup and let the flow rate happen around the spout, what you can consider doing is doing a feathered heart in which you drop into the middle of the cup, shake left to right. You don't bring your hands together or further apart, you stay right in the middle, but with a left to right motion. What that really does is encourages the milk out of the jug. It kind of forces that flow rate. So if you find you drop into that heart and none of the white part of the milk comes out on top, give it a little bit of a left to right, see if you can feather the heart and cause that action to make the heart bigger. Common mistake number 3. Now, one of the more common mistakes when it comes to hearts is positioning. As always, I mix in 3/4 of the way up through the cup. Now, the reason I keep my cup tilted at this 45-degree angle is so that I can place the jug right in the middle. If I'm off center, if I haven't picked my shape right, what'll end up happening is you can create a heart in the cup, but really what you see is that heart starts to take different shapes, and that's because of the fact that it's too left, too right, too forward or too back in that cup. And what's happening is the liquid's then hitting the edge of the cup and really kind of causing a warp to the shape. By being right in the center, by picking that point in which the paintbrush tip that is your jug spout is touching the canvas of your cup, it's really ensuring it's exactly in the middle. Now that's an important thing to remember when it comes to moving on to new patterns. Doing some of the new free pour patterns like Pocahontases and Roosters and all of these really weird and wonderful new patterns is that you really have to be specific on where that spout goes. So starting here within the heart and making sure you're right in the middle will ensure that that pattern stays in place. So that's a whole bunch of hearts. Look, there's a lot to practice when it comes to any pattern. There's always a lot of time and effort that goes into making those patterns perfect. But hopefully today and here in this video, you've seen some things that may have triggered for you, something that always seems to happen, and maybe we've given you an option of getting out of that habit. Outside of that, look, next time, tune in. We've got tulips, we've got rosettas, and hopefully we've got some ways to fix those for you as well. And please subscribe. We're this close to 100,000 subscribers, and when we get there, we've got something really cool in store for you. So we would love to have you all jump on board and join us for it. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.